Because entrepreneurship is very, very tough. It comes at their own risk.
You always need to have that mindset of saying, I will first identify what problems are there, and then if it makes sense, I will go and do it.
Last words for the entrepreneurs who want to start up their journey from your experience to them so they can also take that away.
I will say,
Yeah.
entrepreneurs that do not have a solid team.
Hi everyone. Today we are welcoming you to another episode of Startup Stories, and today I am very, very happy to be here with Akshar Shah from Fixerra. Welcome, Akshar, and thank you for being here with us at Legal Pay. It is a pleasure to have you here, and we've been following Fixerra for a while now, and it's doing embedded financing, which is something that I think everybody is now very inclined towards also and trying to understand. It seems, it's like the future of the coming financing systems. So, let's just start with from the beginning. And where is it that you came up with the idea of Fixerra, and how is it that you just started off with? What was your motivation behind Fixerra, so to say?
Thank you. Thanks, Tarika. And I'm very excited to be here sharing my journey, and also excited to be sharing what we are up to. So thank you for having me. And if I look back, I worked in, I got a chance to work in a bank, which is Kotak, for about 6 years. And within that, I primarily had two very interesting stints. One
Yeah,
was in the bank as a banker, as
yeah,
an investment advisor, complete traditional investment advisory, no labor fintech in it. And the second was Kotak incubated a fintech within its ecosystem, which is called Kotak Cherry, where I joined in as the leadership team. So working with both a bank and fintech made me realize what are the gaps between both. And there needs to be someone who plugs this in embedded finance, or in our parlance also what we do is open banking. We wanted to bridge the gap between bank and banking products and fintechs, whom the customers today are more inclined towards, who have larger share of customers mind share. So we wanted to bridge these two gaps, and that's why Fixera got started.
Oh, wow. So tell me something, when you look back at being at Kotak, and like you said, you were a part of the, the leadership team at Kotak Cherry also. What were the, experiences that shaped your leadership here at Fixera, or, the kind of, I think the kind of motivation, I mean, not just motivation, the kind of challenges that you saw at Kotak Cherry also that you wanted to, implement here better at Fixera?
Absolutely. See, when it comes to fintech, perhaps actually any businesses, the most
Yeah,
important part of it is team. And you need to
yeah,
build out a team that is not just proficient at what they do, but also motivated to solve the same problem that you are
yeah.
dealing with. And here, one of the core challenges is, how do you get a team that is as invested as you are in solving that particular problem that you
Yeah.
have taken? So part of it, the challenge lies in translating the problem to them and making them passionate about this. And I think this is core. Whether you are a MNC,
Yeah.
whether you are a startup, you need to inculcate
Yeah.
this within your team, that the problem that they are solving is big,
Yeah.
is worth solving,
Mm.
and that they are
Yeah.
equipped enough, proficient enough to solve. So one of the things that I can relate to is that when I started out alone. I had one friend of mine who I then took on, and we started the company. But
Yeah.
gradually, the team that I built, I used to not
Mm.
just see whether they are very good in what
Mm.
domain they come from, but also
Yeah.
if they're really passionate about solving this problem. And that's a very difficult thing to judge. So both
Yeah.
in Cherry, I learned that
Yeah.
those that are motivated with solving the
Mm.
problem have far higher um, performance, far higher delivery of things, and they get things done. They want to get this live as much as you want to. You need to get those safe if you are starting up and having your own startup as well.
Definitely. I mean, that is exceptionally true, I think. And so, I've also realized when you get into a job, people reading or, just interacting with different sort of people also comes easily. Then that's when you start actually finding the right sort of people also. While you're in college or school, that is when you don't actually, bother to look at people. So also tell me something, when you, like, your engineering, you did electrical engineering and you went out to do your MBA in finance and marketing. So even during those times, so you always inclined towards entrepreneurship, or at that time you were like, no, I just want to, maybe get a good job, have a good salary, because entrepreneurship is very, very tough. It comes at their own risk. Of course, I not say that, there are no perks. Of course, there are perks. You own something of your own, but at the same time, a lot of people hesitate to take that risk also, especially when they're in such a good position. So how did you always have that mindset, or you build it up over time?
See, I often say that, I often think that starting up is not an arranged marriage. It has to be a love marriage. What it means is you cannot say, I want to start up for sure, and then now let me find something that motivates me enough, and then that is the problem that I want to solve. Because eventually you will then pick up problems which you are solving because you want to start up and you want to do something. Uh, More importantly, it's like a love marriage. When you've hit a problem and you think, oh, why is nobody solving this problem? And then you want to be like, yes, can I try to solve this problem? So you always need to have that mindset of saying, I will first identify what problems are there, and then if it makes sense, I will go and do it. Having said that, there's always a cultural inclination across
Mm.
different, I think, mindsets. And for me, maybe it was my family background or the way that I was brought up, and I always had that I want to give it a shot if it makes sense. So just if I give you an example, I got certain opportunities. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got certain opportunities throughout. Yeah. So even when it comes to like engineering, I happened to start a company out there where we had made like a social media. This was 2013, and there was no social media that much back then. There was hardly any Facebook. There was just Facebook that was
Yeah.
picking up, and we decided we
Yeah.
want to make an engineering community for. We want to make a community for engineers, exclusively only
Oh.
engineers, where they keep their banter, they have their projects that they can share, they can create groups and find projects or co-founders or even next career decisions, etc. So I had
Yeah.
co-founded this company called Engross that time. Even back in my
Oh.
MBA college after engineering, I started
Mm.
a small consultancy practice called R Consult with a group
Yeah.
of my where we said that we are MBA
Yeah.
students. We can help
Yeah.
small medium startups, and small medium
Yeah.
startups cannot afford large consultants. So can we
Mm.
plug in the gap where we get to work on interesting real life projects, and they get to work or they get good advice from, so to say, smart MBA graduates for a less
Yeah.
fee. And at that point of time,
Yeah.
then when after 6 years at Kotak, I hit upon this idea. So I said, now we need to take this up in all formal capacity
Yeah.
and build it. Maybe bet of mine, but still, when I hit the right problem or when I thought I hit the right problem, that's when I decided to
Yeah.
start.
Okay. And so, when you start off with something known as, when you're an investment advisor, senior investment advisor, and then you shift to an entrepreneurial journey, right? Like you said, you've always been in that, mindset. But that transition from that stage to now owning something of your own completely end to end must be challenging also, especially when it's in the realm of embedded finance. So, what were the kind of challenges that you inquired during this transition of yours? And how did you, cope up or manage with them also?
It's a different ballgame. I think only when you get into it, you realize that it's beyond what you can plan for when you start out.
Yeah.
Right? You have to first
Yeah.
dive into the ocean, and then you will find your feet. You will swim across, or you will try to hold on to something and go forward. But the only thing is, first you have to take a dive. There is no planning for it in advance or in detail. However, the challenges that I encountered, see, my background was in banking, in investments, in finance. However, when it comes to starting up, you need to build out a team. You need to build out a solid team. And when it comes to building that, I think that was my first key challenge, that how do I get like-minded, passionate people who are also good at what they do to join me? Because our raw material is people.
Mm.
We have people who build out
Yeah.
amazing products with the banks and NBFCs and deliver them to the customers via technological innovation. So we need smart people to join us, maybe take a risk also from their own careers and join us. So I think that is one key thing.
Mm. Mm.
The second thing is
Yeah.
that we are working in finance. We still have to work with
Yeah.
regulated entities. Let me also share
Yeah.
with your viewers on what is open banking. One is it is a very open term. Open banking करते हैं. Open banking का मतलब क्या
Yeah.
है? Open banking
Yeah.
means we are taking the bank out of its
Hmm.
branch and its mobile app. Most people think that
Yeah.
when I want to access HDFC Bank's banking products, either I will have to
Hmm.
go to HDFC Bank's branch or I will have to go
Yeah.
to HDFC Bank's mobile app.
Mobile app. Yes.
Making their mobile, making their banking products available outside their bank's platform
Hmm.
across multiple other third-party platforms is called open bank, where you tell them your products can be embedded across even a large platform like Zerodha or Grow or Flipkart or Amazon, and it can be made available directly to the customer at their place of where they are. That is
Yeah.
open. So the
Okay.
inherent need is that you will have to work with these entities like banks and NBFCs, where they
Hmm.
allow you to make their products open and
Yeah.
integrate across multiple platforms. So I think one
Of
of the
course.
main challenges was as a new firm, as a young firm, that we give enough confidence to the NBFCs and the banks
NBFC.
that we work with, that you can
Yeah.
build out these solutions with us and we can
Yeah.
help you increase the reach of it across multiple.
Hmm. Of course. So, like you said, it's catering to both their needs, businesses as well as consumers, right? It's not just catering to one person. So it's a win-win, and you are like the third party who is involved in between. Can you elaborate on the vision from, started off with, say, embedded financing to open banking? And these were concepts which are not readily, acceptable or available also, so to say. It was not something at that time people were also thinking about. So what was, how did your vision go out to there, and how did you now look at catering to businesses as well as consumers?
Absolutely. What we identified early on is that when it comes to finances, for
Yeah.
most of us, business, banking, and finances are
You are.
not an end; they are means. Like for example, I
Yeah.
want to save because I want to have
Yeah.
a great lifestyle, or I want to buy this tomorrow. You go
Yeah.
to a bank, you do a deposit because you think that okay, if I add this much money, I will be able to have a better lifestyle. Even
Yeah.
when you want to take a loan, you actually don't want to. You want to take a loan because you want to buy your house or you want to buy a car. So
Yeah.
financial services are a means to some end, and that
Mm.
is why it should not be necessary for you to always go to the bank or
Okay.
go to the branch. Should be
Of course.
embedded within where you want to do. So, for example, we
That.
when we want to buy a car, why
Yeah.
should near when we go to buy a car, why should we go to the bank and check for a loan? Within that car
Asta.
shop, can we take a loan? That is also an
Yeah.
example of embedded or open banking that happens with your point of sale.
Wow.
But though
Yeah.
traditionally, what used to happen is there used to be a bank official who sits,
Personal. Uh,
right? But that's exactly what we wanted to digitize. That next time when you go to an
yeah.
Amazon Flipkart, you say you
Yeah.
require a service of a bank
No,
for
I
taking a
don't know if
small
it's
loan,
okay.
then it should be
Mm.
embedded.
Yeah.
What we started with is one product which is a very common and a popular product, which is fixed deposits. We
Okay.
identified in India, most people have put money into fixed deposits, but have
Yeah.
still put it in their own bank. So the
Mm.
ability for a person to
Yeah.
deposit outside their own bank, which may fetch a higher interest rate, is
Yeah.
not there. So if I am with HDFC, I'm limited to taking a FD with HDFC. I can't take
Of
a
course.
FD with ICICI where I might get a higher interest rate. So
Of
we
course.
built like a marketplace for it. We said let's add a few banks and NBFCs,
Yeah.
add
Yeah.
them, make sure that technologically we can integrate them. And then this platform, which houses multiple NBFCs and banks, can be
Yeah.
integrated on any investment app. So the next time you go to your preferred investment app, you can
Mm.
choose across the banks that you want to open the FD with. You do not need to necessarily open it with your own bank or just with your own bank. So you can go ahead and say that, okay, I am on my favorite ABC app, and I'm seeing that
Mm.
10 FDs over here across some different NBFCs and banks, and I'm able to do that. So we identified a use case and built a marketplace around that, which is then embedded into multiple B2C apps, B2C fintechs that
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
serve.
Yeah. Okay. So, like you said, all of this also requires a lot of technology. Now, and all of this is only possible with the technology evolving. So
Yeah.
how do you say that technology and AI have also helped you shape the face of Fixera? So to say, what is the kind of technology that you are using at the moment to, actually cater to such needs of the users and the businesses? And what do you think is the future for technology to help you grow as a business as well?
At the
Yeah.
core of technology that we build, it is around integrating with banks and NBFCs. And when we
Mm,
want to integrate with banks and NBFCs, we are handling live flow of money of the customer. And one of the
exactly.
most important thing that comes with it is security. So
Yeah.
at the core of what we build for both compliance and security, which ensures that the money that customers are moving through it is safe,
Yeah.
secure. Money, usually, we
Okay.
always say, is in the business, we are in the business of trust. So it is
Of
very
course.
important that we build out a technology that is very secure, so which avoids the risk of frauds, which avoids the risk of any kind of forgery that happens through our
Yeah.
systems. We build across
Yeah.
multiple firewalls, multiple legs of defense that we can do, such that we can
Of
prevent
course.
any unauthorized transactions, any fraud or forgery that happens through our systems. So I think that is at the
Yeah.
core what we solve for in technology. Of course, AI has a big role to play in open banking, and
Mm.
at time to time we look at it from the customer's lens and say, how can we make it better for them? Wherever there is a need for AI to get added, there we are
Yeah.
definitely looking at open banking use cases for it. I'll give you a small example.
Yeah.
If you want to take a credit card, you as a
Huh.
you're a you
User. Yeah.
user, and you say that I want to have a credit card, but
Hmm.
I have certain spends. You may be spending more on travel, you may be spending less on shopping, you may be spending more on dining. Understand you as a person, and then
Hmm.
suggesting you which credit cards would be best for you is also an open banking use
Um,
case, which can then let you
oh, wow.
power and say, okay, I analyzed Tanika as a person. I also interacted
Yeah.
with her using natural language, understood what she was wanting or what could be an appropriate credit card for her, and then suggested
Yeah.
her a wide range of credit cards available across banks. Like which one should she go for
Okay.
to enable her to
Oh, wow.
these are small use cases where AI is very much prevalent, helpful in
Yeah.
identifying what the user is really looking for and helping them discover better open banking solutions.
Wow, so now I understand why I get these ads also for different credit cards at different sites, because I always used to think, why am I getting it? Like, I'm not looking for because we never go out looking for a credit card, right? It's always
Yep.
there in front of us. So we're also like, "Theek hai, le lete hain." I mean, what's the harm, right? It's
Yeah.
it's easy access, it's good money, so why not? But now I understand that, technology and AI have such a big role to play in that also. And like we've seen with, like you were talking about security, there are so many security breaches happening these days. I mean, a lot of people, and there's so many scams running in the market with credit cards, with fraud. So I'm sure that like you said, you have to build up a number of firewall. But is that a continuous threat that you also have to keep a good check at? Is Fixerra? I mean, I wouldn't say a threat, but like a basic or most important criteria that has to be looked at all times. Like it cannot be ignored.
100%. It cannot be ignored.
Yeah,
It's again, it comes from the fact that when you are in the business of trust,
yeah,
security cannot be a cost center. Security has to
of
be
course.
one of your core functions that allows you to keep your business running. Because one security lapse, and it's a big risk to what you are doing, and how the money flow is there with the customer. So I don't. I mean, there are, of course, people some people look at it as a cost center. We ideally don't look
Yeah,
at it as a cost center. We look at it as this is which business you are in. You are in the business of trust. You are
yeah,
in the business of money. This is one of your
hmm,
key pillars that you will need to
of
solve
course.
if you want to grow and
Yeah.
grow sustainably.
You were telling me about securities also, and how security is very important. But at the same time, when you look at banking products, there are a number of regulatory frameworks for you to even work or foster any sort of a partnership with these financial institutions. So how do you approach these regulatory compliances and collaborations with these NBFCs to ensure that the functioning of Sarah's and its performance is also aligned with theirs? regulatory framework, so to say. And are there a lot of compliances that you also have to follow? Because everybody knows the banks and the NBFC have, are monitored by the RBI. But are there a number of compliances that you also have to follow?
Yeah, that's a good question, Tanika.
Yeah,
Yes, we do have to follow. Whenever we partner with any bank or NBFC, we
yeah,
can't come under the pseudo purview of RBI because RBI actually regulates them. Any vendor that they
exactly.
interact with also comes
Hmm.
under the proxy purview of RBI. Therefore,
Okay.
banks ensure that the systems are completely compliant even with their vendors. And when we are
Oh,
doing
wow.
any technological integration with them, it is imperative that we follow a long list and a thorough list of
Yeah,
information security requirements and
yeah,
compliance requirements that are at the
yeah.
bank's level. And so we
Okay.
have a compliance team in house. We have a
Yeah,
cybersecurity team in house that actually mitigates those risks, actually works on those solutions, and then implements those so that we can give enough confidence back to the bank that we follow certain procedure, and only then we are able to work with them. This is also the actual problem because of which not all fintechs are able to work with banks and NBFCs.
ex-
Now,
exactly.
yeah, so there are so many fintechs, but if every fintech spends about 6 months doing the compliance and infosec with
Yeah,
the bank, then it will take just so much of time, and bank cannot do
that,
integration with all of them. So what do we
yeah.
do? We
Hmm.
become the gateway in the middle. What do we
Okay.
tell the fintechs? We tell them
Hmm.
that we are integrating with these banks. We are
Hmm.
being we are actually having inbuilt compliances with these banks, so that
Okay.
when you take our solution, you
Hmm.
automatically get the banking products on your platform without having to do compliances with them, because you are integrating
Oh, wow.
with us and we are embedding
Hmm.
ourselves within you. So the
Oh,
fintechs
wow.
cut down on time to reach and take
Well,
an innovative banking product. If we have spent,
yeah.
like, let me give you an example on the deposit marketplace, the FD
Hmm.
marketplace. We
Yeah.
currently have 6 banking and NBFC partners with us. And we
Okay.
are adding a couple more as we speak. So we are going to have
Okay.
8 banks and NBFCs on our platform who offer fixed deposits. Now,
Okay.
when any fintech approaches us,
Hmm.
they can go live with this in a week.
Hmm.
We may have spent about 8 months to get integrated with all of them, but they
Yeah.
can go within a week because we have built inbuilt compliances with all the banks and NBFCs and act as a gateway between these banks and fintechs.
And
We
oh,
are that
wow.
gateway that offers compliant technology solutions so that fintechs don't have to take too much of time. And on the other hand,
Now,
banks don't have to integrate with one fintechs. Banks can
of
literally
course.
tell their fintech partners that, hey, we are integrated with Fixerra. Why don't you just
Yeah.
take the solution through them and embed it on your
Yeah.
platform?
So that saves so much time, and I mean that is such an innovative idea also because it's saving time, and time is money for any business at the at the core of it. If you have time, if you save time, you put it and invest in other things. So I think this, like in this scenario, like you're telling me, Fixera has definitely helped, and save more time. But at the same time, this is an innovation, and you have to be on top of these innovative ideas. So how is it that like you at Fixera and the team at Fixera keep yourself abreast with the industry and its trends and follow through with new innovative ideas? Because I know for a fact that every business does face challenges there, to be relevant to the changing market trends. And we're living in 2024, the market trends change, with technology coming in, it changes almost every fortnight or every few months. So to be relevant also, I mean, like you have to do a number of research and be relevant. So how do you do that? How do you plan to envision and do that also?
Unfortunately, there are no shortcuts in this. You need to be aware. You need to read.
Yeah,
You need to be in touch with people. You need to understand
yeah,
what the market is telling you. Your own
yeah,
product is telling you. Most
yeah,
importantly, you should have some consumer insights into problems that you are solving.
yeah,
Like, I give you a very small example. When we started, there was into 2023, there was no deposit marketplace. FD marketplace did not exist in terms of infrastructure with
yeah,
along with multiple banks, like the many banks,
yeah,
NBFCs in one platform so that you can do it.
yeah,
One thing that we identified as a insight from customer is that customers do want
yeah,
higher returns. They are willing to
Yeah.
go for higher return FD, but they
Yeah.
wouldn't want to open a savings account with that bank. They would want
Ah,
that without opening a savings account, if I can just open an FD, then I
yeah.
can transfer my money from my ICICI account
I see.
to
See.
the
Yeah.
AU Small Finance Bank FD, but I don't want to open a savings account with AU Small Finance Bank.
Yeah.
Insight, no data research, no reading can give you, but only talking
Yeah.
to customers, only understanding the ground impacts, you will be able to understand then what is the problem and how you can solve it. So what we
Yeah.
did when we integrated with these banks and NBFCs, we said we don't
Yeah.
want on your savings account. We directly
Of
want the
course.
customer to be
Yeah.
crediting their from their original bank account to your bank account, and you only open the FD with it. When the money
Okay.
gets drawn, they give the
Yeah.
money to their ICICI or HDFC account, whichever they once they are with. That's
Oh.
it sold for the adoption, because now the customers feel I'm getting a higher return. I'm not in
Yeah.
savings account with the bank.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I from this I have one more question to ask is how do you educate customers also? Because people come from different socioeconomic background. Now, in something like this, of course, you are integrating with the banks and the NBFCs. So, of course, you're there, right? You're also using their platforms because you have embedded with them. But at the end of the day, I feel educationally wise and how India is structured with its socioeconomic diversity, I'd say how do you plan on educating them with all of this? Because people coming from such backgrounds can understand well, but people coming with no financial knowledge, or so to say, I think I would be one of those. Initially, I had no financial wokeness to begin with. I did not understand all of this, but then eventually I started reading up. You have knowledge, you talk to people. So, do you also plan on disbursing such information for the youth or the coming generations so that they also start grasping to this idea? Or how do you think that can happen, so to say?
See, I think there are many people who give advice, but people, the thing is that people listen to those that they trust, to those
Yeah.
and uh, whom they trust. And therefore,
Yeah.
our objective is that we want to empower those platforms where customers
Mhm.
already have placed their trust. For example,
Okay, well.
if there
Hmm.
are large platforms of the country where customers do
Yeah.
their equity broking or investment
Yeah.
management,
Yeah.
customers are already trusting what they are saying,
Of
what the
course.
platform is about. Integrating our solution with that platform helps them enable those transactions, and they
Of course.
have built up a rapport of financial literacy with their customers, communication with their customers,
Yeah.
which they continue to do because they ace at it. So what we do is
Yeah.
we tell the B2C fintechs, large B2C
Hmm.
investment apps platforms, that you focus on the communication, you focus on
Okay.
the awareness, you
Okay.
focus on financial literacy to your customers.
Hmm.
Let the actual integration,
Oh, no.
backend, technology, compliance with the banks, etc., transactions be left to us.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
truly become their backend partner so that they can focus on the front end and they can talk to the
Yeah.
customer. They are good at.
Okay, wow. So, even with startup stories, that is what we wanted to start off with because, there's so much, even not just with regards to, financial literacy, so to say, but with so many other solutions that are there in the market, people don't really know of, right? So, that is why we wanted to even start with startup stories. But, on a personal front, do you believe in India, financial literacy is existent, so to say, or we're yet to get there? Or we're starting off with that with the emerging technology? Because, since you're in the market, you said you have to network, you have to talk to people. So you must be coming across different, people in your day-to-day interactions as well. So what do you feel like? Is it evolutionizing right now? Is it there? What are your thoughts about it?
I think we are yet to get there. There is no doubt about
Yeah.
this, first of all.
Yeah. Yeah.
But are we getting there? Yes, we are getting there. Perhaps
Yeah.
every day, with more and more financial education, more and more influencers coming into it, more and more contents
Yeah.
that you can analyze, I see
Hmm.
that India is becoming aspirational. And within that aspiration, a big contribution is of financial services. Because again,
Okay.
As Tanika said, this is the means to the end, and so you will have to
Yeah.
do the means to the end. You want to buy a house,
Yeah.
need financial services. You want to
Of
go down
course.
and you take a chips packet, maybe you will have to do UPI and do a financial payment.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need to earn money, that's financial services again. You need to buy a home, you have to take a loan. You want to take a car, you either have to transfer money, save up, put somewhere in your savings, put in your
Of
investments.
course.
So across your investments or your
Uh,
borrowing or your payments,
Modern.
you won't
Yeah.
escape financial services because you cannot
Of
escape.
course.
The awareness is just going higher now, and but I'm sure there's still some way for us to go. We will get there, and it is
Of
compounding
course.
in a good
Of course.
with. So I'm sure we'll get
Yeah, of course, of course. And I'm telling you, when I started understanding this whole financial markets, I was very overwhelmed because there's so much happening. It's not small at all. It is exponentially getting bigger and bigger, and people are involved, and there's so much in this financial market. So you learn every day, and there are different terms you're learning every day. So that is, of course, that. To end the conversation, Akshar, I would also like to ask, what are the aspirations for Fixera going forward? Like we discussed, technology is changing, it is evolving. Amidst all of these changes, how do you, as the founder for Fixera, plan on moving forward with Fixera, and what are your budding entrepreneurial ideas that you would like to implement through Fixera also?
So at Fixera, we are very focused that we want to
Yeah.
be perhaps India's best and largest open banking platform. And when
Okay.
I say best and largest open banking platform, what we envision to do is make a
Yeah.
digital marketplace of banks and NBFCs. What does this mean? It means that imagine walking into a branch, but this is
Yeah.
not a normal bank branch. It is a
Yeah.
branch. There are multiple banks itself, each wooing you with their offer and telling you what they should be doing. So it's like a digital mall of banks.
More. Yeah.
You can enter and not just look at a product from one bank. You are empowered
Yeah.
to choose it
Yeah.
across multiple banks and
Yeah.
NBFCs, and that this entire solution is empowered to be on the platform of your choice. If you like a particular platform, it is embedded there, and you can access it digitally from your phone, from your laptop, on the platform of your choice,
Yeah.
various banks and NBFCs. That is what we want to enable. We want to be the infrastructure creators, digital infrastructure creators for this
Yeah.
in banking model, and that's where we are at.
I hopefully, I would see that happening very, very soon, Akshar. One last question is, if you have any, any parting ideas that you would want to give all the entrepreneurs that are there, any thoughts, any motivation, or any last words for the entrepreneurs who want to start off their journey from your experience to them, so that they can also take that away from you.
I would say
Yeah.
entrepreneurs that do not have a solid team, and it's tough. You need to
Yeah.
get like-minded
Yeah.
co-founders, or you need to get like-minded team
Minded.
members who are passionate about what you solve.
Of
If you
course.
have that, there will be a lot of pivots, there will be a lot of changes, there may be a lot of regulation updates, there may be a lot of
Yes.
things that won't go your way.
Challenge.
But if you have a good team that stands with you across, I think then you surely will get to the place that you.
Definitely, definitely, for sure. I think that applies to life also. If you have good people around you, you're able to succeed, and same goes for, a business as well. I mean, that is how it goes. But thank you so much, sir. I have learned so much today talking to you here, and I'm sure the users have also. And I really, really hope to see Fixera doing very well in the coming, years also. So wishing you all the best. And thank you so much for being here. It was lovely speaking to you. And I hope to, work with you someday in the future as well, and see Fixera in all these platforms as well.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure coming here, pleasure interacting with you.